Lords. The war machines known as Wraithknights are still dexterous enough to run through the ruins of a shattered city, leaping from pillar to spar as their arcane weapons bring oblivion to the enemies of the Aeldari. Each carries either a pair of heavy wraith cannons, their lengthy forms capable of sending their target straight into the hell dimensions of the warp, a sun cannon powerful enough to obliterate a platoon of human soldiers in a single blast of rolling plasma, or a great ghost glaive and Shatterfield with which to engage even the mightiest of demon lords of chaos in single combat. These guys sound absolutely badass. Shame they don't emulate that on the board. Let's dig into how I feel Wraithknights may be still usable, maybe not. Join me as I talk through the Wraithknight. Welcome to Atlas Tabletop Gaming, and as the intro might say, today we are looking at the Wraithknight, the Aeldari Wraithknight. If you haven't already yet subscribed to the channel, please do so, and like this video, give all those thumbs up, yeah, please subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos, and even if you're not, it really helps. So absolutely fantastic, thank you for if you have subscribed already. So moving on then, so one man and his model. Today we are talking about the very awesome Wraithknight model. Now don't get me wrong, the intro might suggest that I'm not a fan of this model. I absolutely bloody truly am. I absolutely love the Wraithknight. I think it's a fantastic looking model. It's one of the best kits that you can get plastic wise from Games Workshop. There has been some newer ones come out that are a lot more detailed, but I've always loved the Wraithknight, and so did everybody else in 7th edition, funnily enough. And yeah, so the Wraithknight since 7th edition has had a bit of a rough time. It's lost a lot of what made it really hard to kill. So if you played Eldar back in 7th, now Aeldari, in 8th and 9th, you will know that the Wraithknight could have something called Invisibility Castle on it. And if you don't know what that means, it basically meant like a Warlock or a Farseer would cast a spell onto your Wraithknight, and it would mean you need 6s to hit it. Even if you were right up close to it, you would still need 6s to hit it. So it made it extremely survivable, and lots of people did that, and I believe in the 8th edition codex for Eldar, GW changed how psychic powers worked and said no more, we've had enough, we can't do it anymore. So they got rid of it, which to some people was a shame, and a lot of people at that point you could actually see what was going on. So a lot of people started selling their Wraithknights, which was a shame because it's a beautiful model, and you know, those sort of meta chasers or whatever you want to call them that just got rid of them because of that reason, well, you know, you got to do what you got to do, innit? So Wraithknights, let's go through the stat line. So it has movement 12 at its full wound capacity, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3. It then starts to potato when you get down to 12 or less wounds. Its movement goes down to 10, weapon skill to 4, ballistic skill to 4, and then even more heavy potato, which is 6 wounds or less. Its movement is 8, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5. Now quickly, from 8th to 9th, so 8th Wraithknights had a really tough time, and in 9th edition they've gotten better, and the reason why they've gotten better is because you can move and fire at your normal capacity. What that means is that, well, you know what that means, I don't need to tell you, you play Warhammer, if you're watching this you know exactly what that means. You can move this bad boy at 12 inches, so they're quite mobile, and still shoot at ballistic skill 3, which is incredible, which is what they should have always done. But obviously in 8th GW decided to, if you move and shot with weapons, blah blah blah, you were -1, and then if that enemy unit was a LATOC, you were then -1 or 2, and then you got the other minuses, and then all of a sudden you're minusing everything, and you're hitting on 7s and you can't hit. You know, this is bullshit. That was 8th, this is 9th. So Wraithknight, a lot better in 9th. So strength 8, incredible strength, which you expect from a large construct model like this. Toughness 8, so they are quite hard. Wounds 24, 4 base attack, leadership 9, and an armor save of 3 up. Did you hear I didn't mention any invulnerable saves or feel no pain for such a large model? You'd think a race as old as Zelda would go, hey, I'll tell you what we need to do with our Wraithknights, boys. What's that? We've got to make them fucking invulnerable, haven't we? We've got to put an invulnerable save them out, make some sort of force shield, like a void shield like we do in our bigger Wraith constructs, like our Titans, and make them a little bit more survivable. Oh, that's a bloody good idea, let's do that. No invuln on this model here, but hey, is what it is. If you want to arm it with 2D cannons, and we get to the weapons in a second, that's what you do. So yeah, moving on to the other stats. This model here is armed with 2 heavy Wraith cannons and 2 scatter lasers. Now, heavy Wraith cannons are range 36, assault 2, strength 16, AP 4 or -4 and D6 damage. Okay, so basically what these 2 guns on here are utterly destructive. Not very good at killing infantry. They're not going to kill. They're going to kill infantry, but they're not. They might kill 4 a turn. Now, if you're pointing this at a vehicle, with that sort of strength and that AP and that damage, you should be deleting a vehicle. Now, scatter lasers. Why have you got scatter lasers on there, Carl? Well, when I brought this model back in 7th edition, scatter lasers were the shit. They used to have a special rule called target lock. And what you used to do is you used to fire your scatter lasers at an enemy flyer. And as long as you got a hit, -1 back in those days, as long as you got a hit, the rest of your army could shoot at that target at normal ballistic skill. So there's all sorts of shenanigans and buffs that you could do to make it almost always hit. Yeah, that's why the scat lasers, they do come off, and I could probably put shuriken cannons or missile launchers on, or star cannons on there, because those are the only other weapons you can take. Anyway, so scatter laser, they're heavy 4, strength 6, AP nothing, damage 1. So yeah, you get in 8 shots, and they can take out infantry, lightly armoured guard, anything toughness 3, they're easy kill, and even toughness 4, you're wounding them 3, so it's not too bad. And I really like scatter lasers, and I prefer shuriken cannons because on Beltan, which is my craft world, they get reroll 1s if they miss, which is really, really cool. It's a nice little army-wide trait that you can get with Beltan, which is cool. And other than that, that's how this one comes. So, yeah, how much, so it's combat weapons, then you get Titanic feet, so you can make 3 hit rolls for each attack made with this weapon instead of 1, so, 4 attacks going on to 12 attacks is, yeah, that's quite nice, because you'll be strength 8, -2 D3 damage, so that's quite nice. That if you get into combat with these weapons, that's what you want to be doing. It has Titanic Wraithbone Fists, which is strength user, AP -3 and D6 damage. So yeah, they're handy at shooting, handy at combat. Oh God, this model sounds an absolute bargain. How many points is it? Well, I'm glad you guys asked. It is 435 points, which is an absolute staggering amount of points. So you get all that for 435 points. Great model, really, really enjoy playing with it. Is it usable? Yeah, I think in 9th it really, really is. Yeah, they're expensive, so you're going to have to pad the rest of your army and build a list around this. People will shoot it, they will try and get it off the board because it's a Wraithknight and they have code sweats from what they were like in 7th edition. And, that's good. Let them have that memory. I think this one's usable. I think you can absolutely play it in a game and you'll have a lot of fun with it. If you're doing 1500 points, it is taking almost a third of your points away. So you've got 1,000 and a bit left to play with. But other than that, love it. Fantastic model. Great. So I have 2 Wraithknights. I have a shooty McShooty one, and I have a slicey dicey combatty one. So what I'm going to do now is I'll swap them over and talk about the combat one. Okay, so before you have the combat one. So it doesn't have the Wraith Cannon. It comes armed with a Titanic Ghost Glaive, which is a really, really cool big ass sword, which is nice, so you can slice and dice and all that sort of good stuff. So it comes armed with the Ghost Glaive, the Shatter Shield, which we'll get to that in a second, and it also has 2 shuriken cannons. And what I like about shuriken cannons is, again, with my craft world, the craft world trait of being able to reroll 1s, which is quite nice. Nice to have something like that built in. So, what is a Titanic Ghostglaive? It's basically a melee weapon. User strength is ×2, so strength 8, it then becomes strength 16 in combat. -4 AP and flat 6 damage. Flipping hell. So if you've got 4 attacks, and you're hitting on freeze and you're hitting a tank, potentially you can pummel out maximum 24 wounds. Holy shitballs, that's quite a lot. So that's what the sword does, and you're charging it into, maybe if there is another super heavy on the board, you want to charge it into that super heavy, but I would be aiming to get this bad boy into combat with stuff like Leman Russes, Chimeras, Land Raider Crusaders, stuff that I know I'm just going to one hit wipe off the board, which is really, really cool. Now, Shatterfield. What's a Shatterfield, Carl? Well, it's basically that 5-up invuln that the one with all the guns don't get, but the one with the sword gets. I don't know, guys. I don't know. GW, pull your finger out. But I really, really like this one. And to be honest, I will take this one over the one with the 2 Wraith Cannons probably all the time, purely down to points cost. So the Wraithknight with the sword and shield is only 380 points. And that's actually not a bad amount of points. Yeah, it's not as shooty, so it's not going to pop things off the board from 36 inches away. You're going to have to get them up close. But don't forget, it moves 12 inches, and it will get there as quickly as you can. Or you hide it back and have it as a reaction force. So when your enemy is surging forward to claim the objectives, you then go, haha, surprise motherfuckers, here's my Wraithknight with a sword and a shield, he's going to slice you up and take names and kick ass and all that sort of good stuff, which is what you want your Wraithknights to do. Now, at the start of this video I said, are they usable? Yes. Because if it's a model you've got in your army and you want to play it, guess what you do, guys? You play it. Are you going to, and it looks great as a centerpiece in your army. You bring a Wraithknight, some people will get those cold sweats. Other people, decent paint job. They're quite easy to paint because they're quite big, and there's some nice surfaces, do some really cool edge highlighting. And yeah, I really enjoyed painting both of these, but they are usable. If you want to bring a Wraithknight to a game, who gives a flying to pigs in the shit? If it's not the meta, if you want to bring it, you bloody bring it and you play it. You just need to learn how to use it correctly and surprise people, because people don't bring them that often, and if people haven't played against something in a long time, they might not remember the stat lines. They might not think, oh, wait a minute, how do you play against a Wraithknight? And that can give you that little bit of tactical advantage. Sometimes bringing something that's not used all the time can give you a really good tactical advantage. So yeah, that's the Wraithknight. I hope you enjoyed this short video, and again, like I said at the start, please like and subscribe to the channel, thumbs up and all that sort of good stuff, and yeah, I will see you all on the next episode of One Man and His Model. Thank you for watching.